Hello, everybody, and welcome to our last session of the webinar series here, organized in scope of the CEV school project, enhancing the level of volleyball at grassroots level all across Europe. This session today, Inhale Strength, Exhale Stress, is with Mr. Dr. Zoran Nikolovski. Thank you to everyone who has followed along so far and who is here today. Zoran Nikolovski is the Secretary of the European Medical Commission and currently an assistant professor in the kinesiology faculty of Split University in Croatia. His topic will address something very new compared to the others, a little bit scientific and definitely applicable to not just coaches working with kids, but also people in daily life. And the topic is stress management. So there will be some special techniques that he shares to help reduce stress and even improve your health. So don't forget to type your questions into the chat box. As mentioned before, please keep your cameras and your audio off. And without further ado, I let Zoran take the floor now.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you very much. And I just want to salute everybody who is interested in this topic. And I would like to, first, as Katrina presented me, I would like to add some more information that I think that is going to clarify more why this and why me. First of all, as Katrina said, I'm a medical doctor and I'm PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. I'm also your colleague because I'm coaching also the kids and kids of the younger age between 12 and 14 up to 16 years. And maybe I have to explain first of all why I have an interest in this particular theme which I'm going to present today. A couple of years ago, I was working in one sports academy where I was working as a sport biochemist and working closely with a sports psychologist from Greece, which his name is Charalampos Fountalakis. We created a joint project around psychology and also the markers, biochemical markers of stress, so such as alpha amylase and cortisol. We were also interested if it would be possible how to reduce these markers, and the result of our joint work is going to be published soon in the Frontiers in Neuroscience, in Autonomic Neuroscience. The title will be The Heart Rate Variability Training and Emotional Control, Investigations of Acute and Long-Lasting Effects. This research topic title is within the Horizon 2030 and Innovative Applications of the Heart Rate Variability. So, with said this, I said that why CEV might be, or volleyball might be interested in this is probably because after establishing the proof of concept with that with psychologically and biochemically we can follow or influence the stress, we intend to create the research reaching other populations, not only as we were dealing mainly with our working with adolescents. Now we are going to shift our interest to referees, coaches, and potentially experienced athletes. First in the line of this research will be a project which will be presented in front of the CEV, where we already with our referee commission, we are going to carry out the project on the international referees. And probably later on, it will go in 2 stages. First stage where we are going to establish the baseline and what are the normal reactions of the referees. We'll expect varied reactions because the first referee is not under the same stress like the second referee, and not at all like a challenge referee or the reserve referee. So we will try to go through this. And then this is a project which is going to be presented under CEV. talking about this presentation today, presentation will go basically in three parts. In the first part, I will try to set up some basic concepts and definitions about the stress. What is stress? How we can do what we can do about the stress. In the second part, I'm going to explain the methodology of the heart rate variability and resonant breathing frequency, which is a little bit technical, but I'll try to limit it as less as possible to be technical, because sometimes people don't have too much scientific background, but I'll try to keep it simple in order to be comprehensive and understandable. And in the third part, I will explain you how we, if having a good hardware and software, how we can make all the assessments. And according to the assessments, I will give you some practical applications, how you can use it, and show some non-published data, which are basically dealing with one handball coach. And I think this might be interesting for you, as most of you are coaches. So let's start with the presentation. And as a definition, we will go through that the stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. In 1936, Hans Selye created the stress model, which is called general adaptation syndrome, which explains the stress and how it affects and the stress response. Let me show you just one right now. I will go. Will try to find you a nice video. You share, which is going to explain a little bit what is stress and how we can manage the stress.
Every day we are faced with challenges and obstacles which can help us grow and help define us. Now, when stress creeps in, well, it can make things seem quite impossible. It can even paralyze us and prevent us from doing things that need to be done. How heavy is this glass of water? Melissa, would you care to answer?
8 ounces.
12 ounces.
16 ounces.
The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to it. If I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold it for an hour, my arm will begin to ache. If I hold it all day long, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Well, the weight of the glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little while, there's no problem. Think about it for a little bit longer, it begins to hurt. You think about them all day long, and you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down.
So, in this video, there was a brief explanation how the stress can easily be avoided. So, first of all, we have to ask our question: stress has a reason. Do we always know what it is and where it comes from? Sometimes probably we know, sometimes because we, in a stressful situation, we recognize where the stress is coming from, and then probably we can also find a way out how to avoid it. And we have to ask the question, if stress is avoidable, is it manageable, and can we do something about it? Probably we can limit it. Probably we can change the situation and try to live differently, because the situation which are provoking our stress, we can just try to find a way around it. Maybe simply we can adapt it to it. And with adaptation, we also have to think about it if it's going to have to leave the chronic effect on us. So probably the adaptation to it is more biological than really a conscious one. And or we can just simply accept the things which we cannot change. Or also we can have fun, and in that way we can try to avoid the stress. There are so many ways how they were proposed how to manage the stress, and one of them are, for example, listen music, practice exercise, practice yoga, simply go to the nature, and then probably the level of the stress is going to decrease. We can maybe meditate, we can be simply positive, even though that about this to be simply positive probably doesn't work, like one psychologist from the Harvard said that trying to be positive is equal if you die like trying to be polar. So probably just to being positive, it's not going to be a appropriate answer to stress. We can use aromatherapy, we can use autogenic training or self-hypnosis. What we are going to talk about today is basically how we can use breathing exercise in order to reduce our stress. So, main topic of this presentation is going to be breathing and how we can try to avoid stress. In that way, we are going to talk about one thing, which is heart rate variability and how we can control our emotions. Let's define what does it mean, heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is a physiological phenomenon of variation in the time interval between heartbeats. Everybody probably is aware of that not every single heartbeat is equally separated between the others. And also, we also know that we can, if we try to just to catch our pulse here on the left or right wrist, we can confirm that there is a certain heart variability while we are inhaling and exhaling. So this normal situation we can follow up, and then if you just stop right now watching this presentation, catch your pulse, and with your thumb, left thumb, and the pulse on your right wrist, you can feel your heartbeat. And just breathing in and breathing out, you're going to realize that when you breathe in, your heartbeat is going to accelerate, and when you breathe out, your heart rate is going to decelerate. This is a normal heart rate variability, which we can observe in every normal situation. But what is happening when we live in our normal situation, when we are surrounded by, when we fast breathe or we have negative thoughts and emotions, our heart rate variability will decrease and will be shallow. On the contrary, when we are under influence of one nerve, which is called nervus vagus, our tone will be our tone will decrease, and we will be able to slow down our heart rate. So these are the possibilities that we can influence, and one of them we are going to show you today in the second part of this presentation. On the hormonal level, this is going to be affected in a way that our stress hormones either are going to go up or they will go down. It depends on in which emotional state we are or how stressed we are. There is one main hormone which is related to the stress, and it is called cortisol. And on the other hand, there is one protein which we can find in our mouth, and which is called alpha amylase. And this protein is also related to the stress, to the level of our stress. And these two molecules, that's called cortisol and alpha amylase, were subject of my study, where we realized that when using this kind of exercise, which I'm going to explain later on, we are capable to reduce the level of our stress hormones, the cortisol and alpha amylase. Training heart rate variability will directly improve our performance. And this is reflected that in a brain wave called coherence, because these wavelengths and the rhythms of the heart will synchronize and align all our physiological systems. When they're in coherence, we'll be able to better treat, instead mind and body are going to work together and in perfect harmony. We have to know that most of our functions are oscillating functions, and they oscillate in all living systems, and especially in our body. Most of our physiological processes are oscillating. Breathing is oscillation, heart rate is oscillation, blood pressure oscillates, and many other physiological functions just oscillate. This oscillating system have a resonant or resonance frequency. So when we are able to figure out our resonance frequency, will help oscillating our system to interact with each other so that they can respond more effectively and adapt quickly and appropriately to changes in our internal and external conditions. For this, we are going to use resonant breathing frequency. What means resonant breathing frequency? Resonant breathing frequency is basically breathing in a way of breathing with slow diaphragmatic breathing. Maybe you heard that some people are breathing with their lungs and some people are breathing with their abdomen. So if we use this slow diaphragmatic breathing, when we use our big muscle, which is involved in breathing, we are able to make this slow diaphragmatic breathing. And it has a regulating effect on our autonomic nervous system. Our autonomic nervous system, we have nervous system which is under our control and the autonomic nervous system which is not under our control. If we can work around this autonomic nervous system with this kind of exercise, we can reduce our level of stress. So, and also, as I explained before, we can tune other oscillating systems for the better function. How we are going to, how we use this resonant breathing frequency? We use it by performing diaphragmatic breathing. It is primary using the lower abdomen when we are breathing. The first thing. The second thing, we can affect this kind of breathing in a way that we exhale longer than we inhale. Approximately, this is 4 seconds of exhale and 4 seconds of inhale and 6 seconds of exhale. In order to facilitate our exhaling, that it is slowing down, we just purse our lips and we slow down our exhaling in order to achieve this resonant breathing. So, after this introduction, which was a little bit technical and probably sometimes it was probably not very much that we can understand everything, I'll try to go right now to explain you what is really possible to do and how we are going to do that. So in order to determine everybody's resonant breathing frequency, we have to make this frequency assessment. How it is achieved? First of all, we have to place 2 sensors. One sensor is placed around or a little bit above the belly button, as you can see, and this is a sensor for diaphragmatic breathing. Second sensor is a sensor which is placed on the tip of the index finger, and this sensor is going to heartbeat. And at the end, when you place both sensors, it is something looks like this. You can see that it was me when I was the subject of this resonant breathing frequency assessment. After that, we are going to resonant frequency assessment using the hardware and the software which is available for whom it is available, and we can do it. Now, I'm going to start the video, and you are going to see how it looks like. Katrina, can you see right now and see the video?
Yes, I can see the resonance frequency assessment.
Okay, so this evaluation is going to go through. I'm going to stop right now the video because I want to read something and explain how it works. So, resonant frequency assessment consists of the paced breathing exercise where the subject progressively slows their breathing from 7 breaths per minute to 4.5 breaths per minute in order to learn what respiration rate maximizes their heart rate variability. So in continuation, you are going to see how it looks like, but this is the whole process of assessment goes through. First exercise at 7 breaths per minute, then 6.5, 6, then 5.5, and so on. Here you can see that, as I showed you before, after the placement of the sensors, we are catching the information of, on the left side, you can see abdominal respiration, which is right now set on 7.37, and you can see on the heart rate of 61 on the right side. Of course, you are going to see that these, as oscillations, which I explained before, are going up and down, and they are going to vary during the whole process of the assessment. Now you see that abdominal respiration drops to 6.73. Heart rate is around 62. Now goes up. As I inhale, it goes up. When I exhale, it goes down. Exhale is this upward curve, and inhale is the upward curve, and exhale is downward curve. If you follow this curve and you just follow the heart rate on the side, you are going to see that how it goes up and down. Okay, we cannot see it anymore. Okay, so what it consists, this spaced breathing exercise? As I said before, I went through the 6 spaced breathing steps, which is 7, 6.56, 5.55, and 4.5 breaths per minute. In order to achieve this particular frequencies, I had the help of one pacer. So this pacer, this blue dot is a pacer. And these lines are going to indicate when you have to inhale. I'm going to show you right now. So when the pacer is, oh, sorry, because, hold on. Okay, when the pacer is on upward curve, then I am inhaling. When it is flat, I stop. When it goes down, I am exhaling. They are set up in a way that every exercise is basically adapted to the breath per minute which I have to follow. So after 6 exercises, my assessment is over, and then you're going to see the result of this assessment. But let's see how it looks like in the whole process of the assessment on one breath exercise, breath frequency. So you see here, it goes up, hold, it goes down. Down is exhale. You can see right now on the right side, when I inhale, that the heart rate will go up. When I exhale, it goes down. This is the heart rate variability which I was talking to you, which I was explaining you. On the left side, you can see that I'm trying with my respiration to achieve that I have 7 breaths per minute. Sometimes I'm 6.7, sometimes I'm 7.1, but I have, in this exercise, I have to try to follow the pacer, which indicates me the exact pace breathing which I have to follow, achieve. This exercise lasts a couple of minutes on each breath frequency, and then it moves to another breath frequency. After I finish on one frequency, then software gives you a break, and this is an opportunity to check with the client if everything is okay. We can discuss a little bit and talk about the experience of the breathing, and then go to another pace of breathing, which is 6.5. I'm not going to show you all the steps which go, but this is basically all the steps, the same thing which you saw right now with the 7 breaths per minute, it's achieved through 6.5 and so on until 4.5 breaths per minute. Okay, so the next thing which comes out are the results of this assessment. And the results of this assessment consists of one table, which software gives you automatically and indicates you. You can see on the right, on the left side, pacer respiration rates. For every single pacer respiration rate, give the subject's respiration rate, which was achieved during the exercise. So you can see I achieved quite good on 7, 6.5, 5.5, and 4.5. It was a little bit more. And then the heart rate variability, which gives you some indicators from which you can realize which is your particular resonant breathing frequency, on which one you have to exercise on a daily basis. For me, it was 5.5. And from now on, I'm going to show you how it was the exercise of this resonant breathing frequency on 5.5 respiration rate. So this is me again. And now you are going to see how it looks when we, after the assessment, have the exercise. This exercise, I have to, before I start, I will explain you that you can follow easier on the video. This exercise served us for two things. First of all, that I could really achieve the resonant breathing frequency, and this exercise usually lasts for 20 minutes. So the main goal was to achieve this resonant breathing frequency, and the software gives you a feedback if all these 3 bars are in green, because it says to keep all 3 bars bright green. When you keep them in green, then you really achieve the resonant breathing frequency. But not only this, you are going to see that these flowers on the right side are going to blossom or to change the shape, and this is also another indicator, visual indicator, that you are in a state of resonant breathing. Again, you have a pacer where you inhale, when you exhale, and also respiration rate, which you have to achieve, is going to be indicated here. So let me show you how it looks like. And I'm going to explain during the video, I'm going to explain what we were doing in order to realize and to see that really this exercise is going to lower our level of stress. At the same time, you are going to, you can see here, we can follow the respiration rate, breath rate, and also the heart rate on this graph below. So during this exercise, now you can see this, that I was just for the moment, I was in a resonant breathing frequency, and I'm back again. So you see that the software indicates me that I'm in a good state, that I am breathing properly, and probably I'm synchronizing all my physiological systems. During this exercise, which was lasting for 20 minutes, we were collecting the samples of saliva. In the samples of saliva, after this exercise, we were detecting these 2 hormones, or one hormone, one protein I told you before, which is cortisol and alpha amylase. In both cases, we observed drop of these 2 markers as markers of the stress, which indicated us that, or we have a proof that most probably this kind of exercise can really reduce the stress, and we can measure it. We could measure it by the lowering level of cortisol and lowering level of alpha amylase. We did it for the first time. When we did it at the beginning and at the end of the exercise, and we observed this difference, the drop of both of these markers. But then later on, we were interested, maybe, just maybe, we didn't know if this drop is happening immediately from the beginning, or it is dropping at the end of the exercise. So what we did is that we measured every 5 minutes of this exercise saliva. We collected saliva and measured these markers, and really we saw a continuous drop of these markers over the period of 20 minutes, showing us that really this process is a continuous one. Since we started until the end, this process was a continuous process of lowering level of stress. Okay, this is the end of this video of our resonant breathing frequency exercise. And now, let me see. Okay, now I will show you how you can, once you know your resonant breathing frequency, if you will be in a position to detect it. Sorry, just 1 second. So once you know your resonant breathing frequency, there are possibilities that you can use free apps which you can find, and I'm going to show you one which I'm using, and what is the name of it. So we simply go in search and we write down breath pacer. There is one of them. There are many of them, so you can use any of them. I'm just showing you this one because this one is one which I'm using. So the breath pacer, you install it on your phone, either iPhone or it can be any other phone, and then you can use it. You can find any of these pacers which you can use for your exercise. Now, this video is going to show you how to use the breath pacer. So the first thing which you have to do is you have to set it up. How you set it up? You have basically you have four options: inhale count, hold, exhale count, another hold, and the timer. I usually work with my frequency, which is 5.5, so I have to calculate it a little bit in order that I have inhale, which has to be shorter, some 40%, and 60% of the whole breath has to be exhale. I can put a hold of 1 second, and then I put a timer on 20 minutes. So this is possible to change, as you can see. It is possible to change it to 0.5, to 0.25, 3, whichever one you want. You can put no hold, just inhale and exhale, whichever way you want. And then how to use it. How to use it. You just press start in the middle, and you are going to see that you have a visible, you can make a visible visual tracking of this daisy, which is going to say, so after you start, it say you inhale, stop, oh, sorry, wait, I did. Sorry. Do you see it right now again?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry to press the wrong button. Okay. So after the setting, you start to use it in a way that you start the daisy in the middle, which is going to indicate you when you have to inhale, stop, and exhale. So while all these petals are coming as lighter, you have to make your inhale, stop, and exhale. Then you have a timer which is set up on 20 minutes, and you are going to do it for 20 minutes. You just follow the screen of your mobile phone, and that's it, and you are going to make the exercise. Good. And now I would like to show you one example from the real practice. So here you see the 4 hours of tracking of the heartbeat of one handball coach. And this is the screen which we get out from the Polar heart rate monitor. And you can see, I'm going to show you here from the beginning until, let's say, something like from setting up the heart rate monitor until the getting to the hole, it was some 40 minutes. You could see that there is a heartbeat which was around this gray area, which is moderate intensity. No, moderate, it's not, it's low intensity. Then once the handball coach get into the hole, suddenly, for some reason, heart rate went up. And in the meantime, when there was a warm-up time, the heartbeat again dropped again to the normal level, which when the coach was before entering the hole. Once the match started, you realize that suddenly all the time the heart rate goes up and stayed during the whole match. You can see until somewhere here it was very, very high, or on the moderate intensity, or even a little bit on the hard intensity. We ask ourselves why the hard intensity of the handball coach, who is simply standing behind the line, besides the line of the court. And then after the match, it slowly goes down, still going up, going down, and afterwards, after some 2 hours after the match, it normalized. Just to show you what was the average heart rate for this particular coach during the handball match, was 113 beats per minute. And then heart rate maximum was 164. Then we proposed to this coach to make a resonant breathing frequency exercise, and before the match, practice this in order to see what is happening with his heart rate. And this here you can see his heart rate monitor graph in a match when he performed this exercise, which I showed you, for 20 minutes. So when he comes, more or less, before he comes to the hole, he was a little bit lower than usually, but in gray area. You can see how, and then he performed this drop is a 20 minutes of exercise, of breathing exercise, where his heart rate dropped from average 90 to average 70. So some 20 heartbeats it was dropped. And then again, when the match started, the heart rate goes up and maintained, and it was maintained during the whole match on a higher level than it was before. What we observed is that this level of heart rate was never like it was in the match when he didn't practice before the match resonant breathing frequency. And it was not enough for us. We expected this kind of result, but what we also expected and wanted to see is how it is going to affect his hormones, cortisol and alpha amylase. It happened the same. They were much, much lower level of these stress hormones, which we showed in a real-time situation where there is a stress of the match, that most probably this kind of exercise can help you reduce stress. And we have it on a reduced heart rate and also in a reduced level of the stress hormones. As I can show you right now also, that here you can see that the average heart rate was 99 compared to 113 when he didn't do an exercise, and also the maximum heart rate was 142 compared to 164 beats per minute when he didn't perform exercise. This is all what I wanted to share with you. I really want to thank you. I want to invite me to talk to you about this, and I hope that for somebody of you this is going to be useful.
Okay, we can start the Q&A session. Francois will lead this.
Okay, thank you very much, Zoran, for this very interesting presentation and very interesting topic. And we will start now with some questions from the participants. Is there a significant difference, or is there a benefit from breathing without the diaphragm rather than breathing normally with the lungs?
It seems that diaphragmatic breathing is helping because it is activating. I said it in one part of this presentation, but maybe it was not very much clear. This kind of breathing is activating it's called vagal brake. So, which means that the vagus is a nerve which is mainly parasympathetic nerve, which is one part of the autonomous nervous system. This parasympathetic, this nerve is innervating almost all visceral organs in our body. And it seems that it is influencing, it seems, but it is known that it is influencing, that it is reducing the heart rate. It is helping in order to also, it is reducing breathing. It is helping in many different ways all the visceral organs. So this vagal brake is basically helping in order to reduce the effect of increasing the effect of parasympathetic part of the autonomous nervous system, and it looks like also decreasing sympathetic nervous system. Why I'm saying that? We have to look at it as a balanced, this part of the autonomous nervous system, we have to look at it as a balanced, let's say, fight between parasympathicus and sympathicus. Sympathetic nervous part of the system is normally increasing the breath frequency, increasing the heartbeat, because it is influenced by the level of adrenaline and noradrenaline, which are the hormones liberated from our suprarenal gland. And it looks like that the parasympathetic part of the autonomous nervous system, when it takes more of this relationship, it looks like that it slows down and also reverse this situation of liberating these stress hormones.
Okay, clear. Should the coaches incorporate some breathing exercises in the training groups of young kids, for example, during the warm-up or even after the training? And if yes, which kind of exercises you would suggest to incorporate?
It is good. It is a good question, because the main part of our work, which I mentioned before in this academy, was made in academy with adolescents. So the first findings related to this kind of let's say assessments or exercise, we performed with adolescents, which is age between, let's say, 14 and 17 years old. Mainly boys, because I was working in the Middle East in the Middle East, where mainly the boys were the subjects. What we observed is that, as the question is in this way, I think that it is applicable with doing that with the kids, because main results which we observe with adolescents. So if we want to incorporate it, I think it will be beneficial. What I would suggest you is that don't just do it in a way that you just jump into doing these exercises. It would be interesting to make kind of a baseline where you are going to see if the baseline without exercise, and try to see and try to relate the performance of these boys or girls without doing this kind of exercise and doing this kind of exercise. The metrics which we are going to use in order to see if this kind of training will help them first to cope with stress, and then consequently, if it is possible, to see that they are going to perform better. these kind of metrics you have to decide by yourself. By what I would suggest you is that you first see how they perform without this kind of exercise, then teach them this kind of exercise, and try to observe with the kind of metrics that you consider as relevant, to see if there is any difference between these two kinds of these two kinds of training.
Okay, we know that the stress is a very large concept, but could you identify or tell us the main stress sources faced by, on one hand, the teachers and the coaches, and on the other hand, by the kids? Are there the same sources? Are they different? And tell us.
Okay, look, I have to say that I don't know everything about stress, but I am more biochemically oriented, and I try to figure out as much as possible about this topic. I can tell you what is my experience working with kids, not only doing the scientific work. I think that my experience, which is not, it's not very extensive, because I think that there are people who are listening, probably they have much more experience working with kids. I work with kids about 15 years or some little bit more.
Good experience.
Yeah.
It's already good experience.
I hope. I don't know if it is, but probably there are people who are working much more with the kids, or they work much more with kids, and they could have much more reliable information about this. What I realized is with kids, working with kids, and which is the main reason why they are under stress. First of all, is a self-image. I would say so. Many times they are concerned about how the people are going to look at them if they are not successful. So, and that way, I would say that we as a coaches, we have to redefine the word success. Kids in this age, when they are adolescents, success for them should be something completely different than it is success for the adults. But as the role models of the kids are usually adults, they look at them, and when they look what they achieve, they think that the only way that they can consider them successful is that they are alike adults. I try to play around with this in order to try to explain to kids that it's not it is important to win, but I try to drive their attention to what is important to win. And my first objective of winning is to win yourself. To win yourself in a way that you have to overcome some habits which are taking you back. You have to overcome your fears. You have to overcome your the threats, which are many times completely things which are invented. These threats which they see as threats are invented, and try to convince them that what they have to do is that they have to work on themselves in a way that they have to put the goals, not a list of wishes. I would like to be like another person. No, this is not objective. This is wish list. So I try to explain them this is the most important thing which they have to achieve. And the second thing which I consider is very important, that the stress many times is rooted from our worries about the future. I try to small kids are living almost always in present, but as the kids grow and become adolescents or older adolescents, they are more concerned about the future. So I try to keep them in the present, and in that way I achieve that they reduce the level of stress.
Okay, thank you, Zoran. There's another question in the chat box. And I think that you already replied to that question, but maybe you can remind us in a few sentences how we can monitor the heart rate of the athletes before and after the session.
The best way is with the heart rate monitors. I mean, there are so many. The one which most of the people use is Polar. So you can.
But okay, the stress is not the only factor affecting the heart rate.
No, I
right?
agree with you.
So
it can
it's
be
a bit complicated.
It can be dehydration. It can be many factors can affect your heart rate. I completely agree. If you didn't sleep well, there are so many factors which are affecting heart rate. But what I'm saying is that once you establish the baseline, then with your exercise you can. That's why our baseline is, if you remember the whole graph, our baseline was something about between 20 and 25 minutes. So if you establish the baseline and you see then the change of this baseline, we are interested in the variation of it, and not as a absolute value.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just thinking. There's another question from one of the participants. Maybe it can also be combined. The question is, what is the recommended training to control stress?
I mean, you mean the one which I explained right now?
Yes, just the breathing exercise with the, because, you know, like maybe not all of us have access to a special monitor, but maybe there's a special technique like simply counting on your fingers, or is there a simple way to do this breathing exercise to control the stress?
Look, I think that it is a good question which you right now asked. Even if we lack the very fancy technology, just concentrating on your breathing, you are actually exiting the situations which might create a stress to you. Just driving your attention from something which is bothering you, just to counting your breath, can help that you can really relax at that moment. This is what I think, even though I'm not very much sure that this and only this can help certain people. What I suggest is that we try simply this kind of exercise, and we just observe our heart rate variability. And as soon as we, for example, just monitor it, I am 100% sure that she's going to bring down some markers which are going to indicate you that you really achieve lowering your stress level.
Okay, that's great. There's another question once again. Every time we think there's no more. Next question, is it true that our stress level will be controlled by drinking water? Or can be controlled by drinking water? I think that's what they...
I really don't know. And this is really something what I don't know. And I don't know, I mean, when you say drinking water, now comes to me many questions. Drinking water, quantity, temperature, in which intervals, I really don't know anything about it. I really don't know. But look, if the person can leave an email, I can check it, and and to see if somebody did something about it, and if there is any scientific evidence concerning drinking water and lowering the level of stress.
I don't think we have any other questions there, but we will say once more then what Zoran just said. If you want to leave your email address in the chat box regarding this water question, we can send it to Zoran so he can reply. I think that's it for the Q&A session. So I can say thank you again, Zoran, for taking the time to be here today and share your interesting knowledge and scientific studies so far. I don't know, Francois, if you have anything else to say. All good, then everybody, please keep your audio off once more. We will put this video on the website.
I cannot hear you. I see that you are talking something, but I cannot hear you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying thank you for taking the time, and we will put the video of this recorded session on the website, and we will also include the 1-minute video you had in the beginning that wasn't working. We will edit this into the session so that the participants can view the video once more once we post it on the website. And yeah, we wish everybody good health and hopefully to see you all soon. So thank you again, and have a nice evening or afternoon or morning wherever you are in the world. Have a nice day and see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anybody, you can share also with all the participants my email address, and if they have any particular question or they something can remember, I don't know, in some, or just pop up in their mind somewhere in the future, just to give them my email, and I will respond gladly if I know.
Okay, great. Thank you. Then we'll close the session.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you, Zoran.
Have a
Thank
nice
you. Bye-bye.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.